Appreciate you guys being with us. And for those that are watching over on YouTube, sorry that I had the mute button on as long as I did. Forgive me for that. That was pretty awful. Daryl Turner, thanks for letting me know. Sports Betting Time Lapse, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate you guys being with us. Now we're back. Man, for all of those that are watching on TikTok and Instagram Live, jump on over to YouTube because you can actually see the research that I'm doing. So if you guys are curious about how I'm putting in the algorithm to generate the research and the picks we're coming up with, jump on over to YouTube, Butt Fumble Sports on YouTube, best way to do it. Sal, no run in the first inning question for the Pirates and the Braves. I'll say no run in the first inning, Sal. I don't have great confidence either side, but if you pushed me to it, I'd say no run in the first inning, Sal. No run in the first inning for Pirates and Braves. We'll see if I get that one right, as that one's just about to start. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you are, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys are with us every time we're live. Eddie, this is actually one of our shirts. You can find this on our website, buttfumblesports.com. We have a couple of these kinds of cartoon single-player shirts, so you can go check it out today. That's buttfumblesports.com. Get yourself a Jeff Bagwell shirt. We have a number of shirts just like this, so go check them out on our website, buttfumblesports.com. That's buttfumblesports.com. Mello, do you have somewhere where you have your picks? Every single day, my picks are available on the SHARPZ app. SHARPZ is like a bulletin board for sports bettors. Every time I make a pick or place a bet, regardless of the sports book or the type of bet or the amount of money I place, the SHARPZ app every day and see every bet that I make. They're always available. They're always accessible. I'm a very big believer in that. You guys shouldn't be paying for my picks. I do this research every day because I love talking sports. I love researching sports data. With that said, I give away my picks for free. That's why I give them away for free on the SHARPZ app. SSR, thanks so much for being a great viewer. Did decide to go Orioles based on the trends and the data. It really came down to the starting pitching matchup. Andrew Heaney, starting pitcher of the Rangers this year on the road, winless, has not gotten a win on the road so far this year. We're taking Orioles on the money line, JT. Orioles on the money line. Appreciate you being with us. SSR, Brewers, that's a tight one for me. Personally, I think the Brewers are going to win this game, but I would also urge you, we'll dive into it really quickly right now. Let's take a look. Cubs, last game of a series, and let's just say against a division opponent. So Cubs, last game of a series against a division opponent, 3-5 straight up, 3-5 on the run line. By the way, the under, 5-1-2. Keep that in mind. The under, very strong play for this one. On the other side of things, though, when the Brewers, last game of a series, and they're playing a division opponent, 6-2 straight up, 5-3 on the run line, 4-4 over under. When the Brewers have that scenario at home, 3-1 straight up. When the Cubs have this scenario, is 7-0 when Freddie Peralta pitches at home. When Kyle Hendricks pitches on the road so far this year, the over is 3-1. Based on the trends, the over is a strong play. Personally, I think the under is going to hit. But according to the trends, the over is a strong play. Kyle Hendricks on the road this year, 1-4 straight up, 1-4 on the run line. I do like the Brewers on the money line. So to answer your question, I'm going Brewers on the money line. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content and loving the show. Reminder for all of you fantasy football owners out there, tomorrow is July. It is officially July 1st, and we are going to start doing a lot of content. We're going to do mock drafts almost every single day. That's right. We're going to do mock drafts almost every single day. We will be doing some fantasy leagues that you guys can participate in. So if you guys love fantasy football and you're getting ready for the fantasy football season, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're with us every time we go live, because we are going to do a lot of fantasy football content over the next few weeks. Kevin Duff. Now it's freezing. Okay, sorry about that. Opinions on Yankees over Cubs, over Twins, over... Okay, Daryl, I like the Yankees over. That one's already up on the board. Cubs over, we just looked at it. There are reasons to believe in the over based on the two starting pitchers. So Daryl Turner, I'm certainly not going to talk you out of that one. Twins game is probably the hardest one for me to predict. Joe Ryan, Luis Castillo, two very good pitchers on the mound. let's just jump over to that game really quick. Twins, last game of a series on the road, and they are an away favorite, I believe, today, which is an interesting scenario for Castillo to be in. By the way, when the Twins are on the road, last game of a series, they are 7-1 straight up. 7-1 straight up. Pretty impressive. The only loss actually came back in April. That was the only loss that they've had under this scenario. So 7-1 straight up. Very impressive. Twins on the money line looking very good. How about 5-7 straight up, 5-7 on the run line? The under is 2-10. The under is 10-2. So I like the Twins on the money line. Give me the Twins. I'll throw the Twins up on the big board. Let's take a look really quick at how the market's playing this one. Money's coming down slightly on the Twins. I'll take Twins on the money line. We'll tack that one on to the big board. Another pick that we got for you guys. Mello, we're taking the Phillies. Phillies over the Marlins. Phillies over the Marlins. Not hesitant about that one. That one's already made our board. What should I, as a Jets fan, be prepared for this season? I wouldn't say disappointment. I actually think this is the Jets' best opportunity to go to a Super Bowl in a long time. And I'm not saying that just because of false hype. I thought last year's preseason was false hype. I feel like this year's preseason has been actually incredibly quiet. They've addressed their offensive line. They have a number of really good weapons in the receiving core. I love the addition of Mike Williams. That's a lottery ticket. So I think the Jets have a really good receiving core. I think they're better in the run game than people think. Breece Hall is a top 10 fantasy pick right now. As long as Aaron Rodgers can actually be and stay healthy, I think the Jets are a team to look out for in the AFC. I think the AFC is vastly overrated. The Dolphins took a step back. The Bills took a step back. Personally, I think the Bengals took a step back ever since Jesse Bates walked out the door and went to Atlanta. I don't think their defense is nearly as good. I think Baltimore clearly has problems in the postseason. So despite being a really good regular season team, not quite the same. I just think right now, to me, the Bengals are an impressive offense, but I don't know if they're good enough defensively. I think the Chiefs are obviously the class of the entire conference. Chargers are interesting, but other than the teams I just said, and the AFC South is the biggest question mark. The Texans could build on what they had last year, or they could take a step back as teams like the Colts and the Titans and the Jaguars take steps forward. So personally, I think the Jets are in a really good position. I'm not a Jets fan, so I'm not saying this out of any bias, but I think the Jets roster is maybe a top 4 roster in the AFC, if not higher. You could tell me, and I would believe it, if you told me the Jets finished the season with the number 1 defense in the NFL. I think the Jets defense is phenomenal, so I'm very high on them. If the Jets don't make it to the playoffs, I'd be shocked. It would mean most likely an injury to Rodgers, but if Rodgers stays healthy throughout the year, I think this is a Jets team that could see the second round of the playoffs at worst. Okay, let's get to work. Plus 1.5. I love the matchup, Hunter Green and Lance Lynn. I really like Hunter Green in this scenario. Hunter Green, so far this season, regardless of location, is 5-11 straight up, 7-9 on the run line. When he's been on the road, the Reds with Hunter Green on the mound, 3-4 straight up, but 5-2 on the run line. I like the Reds, again, I like the Reds at plus 1.5. So, might be a favorite, might not be a favorite. Move that line if you can. I would take Reds plus 1.5. I like Hunter Green to cover that spread at plus 1.5. Lance Lynn. When Lance Lynn's been on the mound for the Cardinals so far this year, they're 9-7 straight up when he's pitched at home so far this year. 6-2 straight up, 7-1 on the run line. Maybe you don't want to take my advice on this one. I'm very much basing it on some other trends that I looked at and on the marketplace, but Lance Lynn has pitched very well at home. Right now, the market is favoring the Cardinals at 93% of the tickets, so maybe that's based on the Lance Lynn. I'll rip the Reds off the big board. Lance Lynn at home might be the better play, so kind of interesting there. Ryan, I would say take the Jets over 9.5 wins. I don't know if I take the 10 flat because they could get to 10 and then I'm just at a push. So over 9.5. Muttley, I like the Reds to cover, but I think the Cardinals' money line is actually a good play based on Lance Lynn. So I take Cardinals on the money line. Gavin Martinez, keep Jonathan Taylor in the 4th or Kyren Williams in the 10th. Wow, that is a great question. I would probably say... I'd probably say Kyren Williams in the 10th because it's such enormous value. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a really good year this year. That's the only caution. But Kyren Williams in the 10th round is... I've taken the Kyren Williams approach. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is absolutely due for a big year. I love the offense that the Colts have built around him and Anthony Richardson. So I'm definitely not fading Jonathan Taylor. I just think Kyren Williams in a 10th round keeper league is freaking sweet. I would hold on to that. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Mr. Parlay It Up. Love the White Sox on the money line. Love the White Sox on the money line. Love the White Sox on the money line. They have Garrett Crochet on the mound. If you guys don't know who Garrett Crochet is, just wait a couple weeks till we get to the trade deadline, because that may be the #1 trade target in terms of a starting pitcher out there on the market. He is a stud of a starter for the White Sox. He's been fantastic this year. And the Rockies are the worst team in baseball on the road on a Sunday. They haven't won. They haven't covered the spread. I would take the White Sox 100% today. I'm not saying it's a lock, but the White Sox is the team I'd absolutely go with a high conviction level. Justin81, I think that's a great call, actually. Given right now, a lot of people are talking about the Yankees going after him, the Braves going after him, the Dodgers, the usual suspects. I'm with Justin here. If the Baltimore Orioles could add Garrett Crochet, and you had a starting rotation where your 1-2 is Corbin Burns and Garrett Crochet, that is playoff elite starting pitching. I think that's how the Orioles ace. Not a #2 in the rotation, but a second ace away from being a World Series. Diamondbacks are 5-1 at home on Sundays this year. 5-1 on the run line as well. So actually a play I'd consider is Diamondbacks -1.5. Diamondbacks -1.5. I actually think it's a very strong play in terms of where the money's coming down. Diamondbacks -1.5 is +105. It's getting 97% of the money, 98% of the tickets. Diamondbacks -1.5 is one that I'm actually into. Think that's a decent idea, so not opposed to it in the least if that's where your head's taking you. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you follow us. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. Hope you guys are with us every day. Sal, Yankees first 5 team total over. I don't know, Sal. I'm leaning towards yes, but it's close. Daryl Turner, would you parlay Braves, Phillies, and Rays? Braves is the only one I wasn't crazy about, but Phillies and Rays I really, really like. Daryl also asks, love the Carolina Panthers' new head coach to turn heads like Houston Texans. Daryl, I agree with you, but here's a big difference for me. The Houston Texans were built very much on the offensive line. Years ago, then they got their quarterback to put behind it. The Carolina Panthers did things the opposite way. I don't think the Carolina Panthers offensive line is nearly as good as what the Texans offensive line was last year. I don't think they have the weapons overall. What the Carolina Panthers really did is they got their young quarterback, and then they just did a mix and match of various free agents to try to build a squad. I still think the Carolina Panthers are years away from be surprised by it, but given their recent struggles, Ray, you might be onto something. Ryan, no, Yankees won the World Series in 2009. That is correct. User 26, I do think the Phoenix Mercury win, though I'm really rooting for Caitlin Clark in this game to go off against Taurasi. I did not like how Deanna Taurasi talked about Caitlin Clark during the draft process, during the Final Four, during March Madness. I thought it was ludicrous that one of the greats of the game was kind of shaming one of the current up-and-coming stars of the game. So I'd love to see Caitlin Clark go off. User 26, I'm going with the Royals on the money line. I'm taking Royals on the money line. I like the starting pitching matchup. Seth Lugo has pitched very well this year, so I'm going to take the Royals on the money line. Royals on the money line is getting just 68% of the money compared to 73% of the tickets. But I do like Royals on the money line at minus 130. Padres money line's an interesting play. I take the Padres at the plus 1.5, but I certainly think that the Red Sox could win it. I think the Padres cover is a much better play. Justin A1, give it time. CC will take over. Frankly, if there wasn't so much noise around Caitlin Clark and we only focused on her numbers, everyone would be dazzled by the fact that she's putting up phenomenal numbers for a rookie. We just pay, but absolutely run shit for the next 15 years. Mello, you think the Giants beat the Dodgers? I actually think there's a good chance of it. Starting pitching matchup actually favors the Giants a little bit. And I pointed this out earlier. The Dodgers, this is one of the greatest anomalies of the 2024 MLB season. The Dodgers have played 5 games on the road on a Sunday so far this year. They are 0-5 straight up. They are 0-5 on the run line. I can't explain it. I don't know why. But the Dodgers have failed to win and failed to cover on the run line in every road game they've played on a Sunday this year. Given that you can get the Giants at underdog odds, you want to take the Giants plus 1.5? That's what I did. That's what's up on my big board. But I think Giants could easily get the win today. Appreciate you guys being with us. Jeremy Buck, 4-teamer, Phillies, check. White Sox, check. Brewers, check. Twins, check. I like all of those, Jeremy Buck. I'm sure there's one stinker in there because that's usually how it works. But based on the trends, data, analytics, matchups, weather, everything that we teams, they're all on my big board right now. So I'm with you, Jeremy Buck. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Hope you're loving the content and the conversation. If you do, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. Great to have you guys with us. Hope you're with us every single day that we go live. Tigers are playing the Angels today. Casey Mize against Tyler Anderson. BallparkPal.com has the Tigers scoring more runs, but the Angels with a greater probability of winning. Kind of an awkward matchup. Tigers, last game of a series on the road so far this year. Tigers are 4-9 straight up, 5-8 on the run line. Under that same scenario, Angels, last game of a series, the way it's played at home, 4-9 straight up, 6-7 on the run line. Taking a look at Casey Mize first. When Casey Mize pitches on the road so far this year, Tigers are 4-3 straight up, 5-2 on the run line. When Tyler Anderson pitches, I would just avoid it. I don't think it's a good game to play. So I would say avoid that Tigers and Angels game. Just not one that gives me a lot of confidence in either side. Anderson, Josh, I think you actually have a bunch of really good player prop bets up on the board. Ricky, appreciate the kind words. Really appreciate the loyal viewership that you guys show us almost every single day. Hope you guys make time out of your future days to join us. We got a lot of fantasy football coming in the next few weeks. Obviously, a lot of sports betting research and fantasy research. We're going to do some fantasy leagues, some fantasy football mock drafts. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're with us every time we're live, and that way you never miss any of our content. Ginger, I don't have a Chicago Sky pick. No, I don't have one for that. JT, Twins hitting against Castillo. I like the Twins to win. I don't know if they score a ton of runs, but JT, I do like the Twins to win in that game. Twins on the money line is where I'm going with it. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Get your questions in. Just a few more minutes, and then we're going to hop off. By the way, I told you guys, Pirates, Braves, no run in the first inning. First inning went scoreless, so happy to say we called that one correct. I'll actually give out a bunch of first inning run plays right now. Marlins, Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning, okay, guys? Marlins and Phillies, yes to a run in the first inning. Another game we like, Cubs, Brewers, no run in the first inning. Cubs and Brewers, no run in the first inning for Cubs and Brewers, okay? No run in the first inning for Cubs and Brewers. Here's another one. Rockies and White Sox, no run in the first inning. Rockies and White Sox, no run in the first inning for that game. Another one, Reds and Cardinals, no run in the first inning. Reds and Cardinals, no run in the first inning for that one. I'll give out one more. Rangers, Orioles, yes to a run in the first inning. Rangers and Orioles, yes to a run in the first inning, okay? So just gave out a bunch of those. Jorge, rant on the DeJounte Murray trade and what they do with Ingram. Well, I think Brandon Ingram's going to be traded. I think the Pelicans have let it be known that he's on the trade market and they're looking for a partner to move Brandon Ingram to. DeJounte Murray, I think, is, at this point, another player going through the rotating door of the New Orleans Pelicans as they try to find a team that can play with Zion Williams. But I just feel like that marriage has never worked out. Now they're trading for DeJounte Murray. They're trying to put talent around Zion. Is that going to change the equation? Probably not. I really think DeJounte Murray's a fantastic player. I like that he leaves Trae Young. I don't think that pairing was ever that the movie is having. No, because the star is who's ultimately going to have to solve it or be a part of the solution. So I think DeJounte Murray's a good player. I understand why they made the trade. Ultimately, I just don't think it's going to lead to long-term success. And finally, one last note on this. If there is any team right now that's looking at the West going, how the hell did we go from rising stud team to now back at the bottom? The New Orleans Pelicans, they've got a long road to climb because the West is so loaded with young, talented teams. If you just look at Oklahoma City, if you look at Minnesota, those two alone are going to create a lot of problems moving forward for New Orleans. So I just don't see how New Orleans overcomes the threats in the West given who they have on the roster. Doghouse Breaks, favorite play of the game time. I would say I really like the Twins on the money line. I think the Diamondbacks on the money line are probably the best play of the day. Diamondbacks on the money line. I really like the White Sox on the money line. When the White Sox have been a favorite this season, they're undefeated. Let me actually show you that so you guys know I'm telling truth on this one. When the White Sox have been a favorite for any game this year, they are 5-0 straight up. They're 5-0 on the run line. So Rockies on the road on a Sunday, 0-6 straight up, 0-6 on the run line. So the Rockies haven't won and haven't covered the spread under the scenario they have today. And under that same scenario today, or slightly different, the White Sox are undefeated on the run line and undefeated straight up. White Sox on the money line, I think, is maybe one of the best plays of the day. I think White Sox minus 1.5 would be an interesting bet. So for those that are looking to maybe take some extra risk today to get a better return on investment, consider White Sox minus 1.5. Kind of an interesting one, but certainly White Sox on the money line has my G-Bucks. Yo, what's good? Great to see you watching the show. Appreciate the loyal viewers that we have who tune in almost every day. You guys are my favorites if you don't know. Thoughts on Packers this season? There's one under the radar, and by what I mean by Packers aren't under the radar just given their brand. But if you told me there was one team that didn't win their division last year who could win their division this year and make it to an NFC championship game or an AFC championship game, I'd say it's the Packers. Packers have a really good receiving core. They have a decent offensive line, needs to maybe be a little bit better. I'm hoping that actually it is better with some of the moves they made this offseason. They have a really talented and young defense, and they have their quarterback. I think the Packers are absolutely a threat to reclaim the NFC North, and they are a threat in the NFC playoffs. They are one of the more balanced rosters. They're young, they're fast, they're talented. I think very highly of the Packers. Maybe the Lions are still the top dog in the division, but I think it's going to be a year-long battle. I think the Packers are right back to being a perennial threat in the NFC. Someone's asking about the first 5 innings for the Marlins and the Phillies. I would take over 4.5. Over 4.5 in the first 5 innings. Over 4.5 in the first 5 innings. What about the Cards game today? Elliott Robinson, we kind of have an interest plus 1.5. We have Padres plus 1.5. We have the Phillies on the money line. We have the Yankees on the money line, and we like over 7.5. for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Yankees, Blue Jays over 7.5. We like the Rays on the money line. We like the Brewers on the money line. We like the Royals on Diamondbacks on the money line. And we like the Orioles on the money line. Those are all the picks that we're giving out for today. Those are the picks that we have. Ricky, I'm a Panthers fan. Heard what you said earlier. What do you think about their defense this season? I think their defense is going to take steps forward, but the lack of Brian Burns is going to be substantial. He was such a he was one of the more talented defensive players that had come through Carolina in some time. So with the Carolina Panthers, to me, it's all about how much growth can you get in this year with year one of your head coach. I don't think you're going to go anywhere substantial. I don't think you're going to get together the early infrastructure of a roadmap towards success. It's going to take time. I think the Carolina Panthers are multiple years away from being a contender. Though, again, the one thing the Carolina Panthers have going for them is the NFC South sucks. It's a mess. If you tell me Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and Kirk Cousins are the three opposing starting quarterbacks in your division, I would be pretty excited because all three could shit the bed at any moment. All three could get hurt. All three could literally go from starting quarterback this year to like a backup quarterback somewhere else in 3 years. So I think there's a lot of, maybe not Kirk Cousins with his contract, but there are a lot of reasons for me to believe that Carolina, if nothing else, is in a division where they can compete in the future. I just don't think it's going to be this year. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Can't wait to talk sports with you guys again tomorrow. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. We will be live at 4:30 tomorrow, okay? 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. That's 4:30 on Monday. Make sure you're with us. So right now, hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you join us. Make sure you're with us at 4:30 on Monday for another episode of the Butt Fumble Sports Show. Until then, have a great afternoon. Enjoy a full slate of MLB. I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. And I will catch you guys again tomorrow at 4:30, everybody. Until then, have a great afternoon. Goodbye, everyone.